my next guest here on Smarter San Diego may not be exactly thrilled about what we're going to share with you here today, but the truth must be known. And when people who are in positions of authority are saying things as though they were facts, we need to dispel those myths. That's how we make you smarter than everyone else. Please welcome Andrew Paul to the show, my good buddy. How you doing, Andrew?
Hey, buddy.
Great to see you, my friend.
You too. Thanks for having me again.
Andrew is a veteran and a VA loan expert. And recently, Andrew, we've seen a couple things have been sort of swirling around online. Apparently, this has been going on for a long time, and it sort of just bubbled to the surface. But
what's that, Derek?
Dave Ramsey, who host of the Dave Ramsey Show, a very popular and well-known financial talk show host, has been saying a lot of things about specifically the VA loan, which is what you're an expert in. And he hasn't had exactly great things to say about it. So what I'd like to do is play for you the clip. This is from YouTube, from Dave Ramsey's channel. You can see, you want to pull, just go ahead and show it, Jade. It says right there, the Dave Ramsey Show. Okay, so I didn't upload this. This is their upload. This is their content. And I'm going to play a snippet for you here. Now, this is a veteran who's called in. Both him and his spouse are veterans. Mm-hmm. And they've been listening to Dave for a couple years, and not everything Dave says is wrong. Not everything he says is bad. Okay, they've saved some money. They're going to be debt free. They're attributing that to him, but they're asking him, because they're moving, if they should rent or they should buy, and specifically if they should buy using the VA loan. So that's a little bit of background. Now listen to this 20 or 30 seconds, and you can hear exactly what has caused all of the hubbub.
So the question is, do we buy now and get that extra? The way I see it, there's two positives. There's the equity we would get in the house, plus I start saving for retirement 2 years ahead of time when I move into baby steps 4 and 6 at the same
Except
time.
Except for the fact that you're moving in a house broke.
Yeah.
Which is just so dangerous, it's unbelievable. You're asking for trouble, and the VA loan's a more expensive loan anyway. It's not a bargain. It's the worst loan out there as far as the three, VA, FHA, and conventional. Conventional's the cheapest, FHA next, and VA last. The only reason anyone ever does a VA loan is because they don't have any money. And you can get a nothing down deal with that. That's the only reason anybody uses their VA loan. Thank you.
So, that is... I'm just waiting for Andrew to uncork here.
I'm going to start twitching. Is there smoke coming out of my ears?
Yes, there is, and there should be. So he's saying the VA loan is the worst loan.
Let's quote, the worst loan out there.
The worst loan and
Dave
the most
Ramsey.
expensive.
Okay. Where do I begin? Dave Ramsey, you have it wrong. And you got a great following, so you're really good at marketing, but your facts are incorrect here. And the thing that frustrates me the most about this clip, and by the way, this is Dave has said this many times. This is one of many clips. He continuously and so emphatically and smugly, like in a complete lack of humility, just dismisses the VA loan as the worst loan out there. And it's just flat wrong. So first he says that it's the most expensive loan out there. That's just simply not true. What you need to understand is that, let's look at, well, there's three loans, conventional, FHA, and VA. The FHA loan is the most expensive loan out there because the FHA loan has both an upfront mortgage insurance premium that's paid and a monthly recurring mortgage insurance. The FHA loans upfront is 1.7% or 1.75, which is a little bit lower than the VA, assuming you're going 100% financing. But it does also have a monthly recurring mortgage insurance that never goes away for the life of the loan. And the VA does not have any monthly mortgage insurance.
And it's a big amount. It's not a small
Correct. That's
amount.
right.
It's a big monthly mortgage insurance amount.
I can't get inside Dave Ramsey's head, and I certainly can't understand why he would make such a ridiculous statement and then not really back it up, but I can only assume that what he's referring to when he says that the VA loan is more expensive is that he's referring to the VA funding fee. The VA does have what's called the VA funding fee, and it is a one-time fee that is paid to the VA, and it is rolled into the loan, and that is what pays for the VA home loan program, by the way. There's no monthly mortgage insurance, but there is a one-time VA funding fee, unless, of course, you have a VA disability rating or you're in receipt of VA compensation, and then the funding fee is waived till zero. So the clip we saw just 2 days ago that was not the one you just showed, Dave did say it slightly differently. He said, it's the worst loan out there. He did say that. It's the most expensive loan out there unless you have a VA disability rating. So I can only deduce that the reason he thinks this is because of the VA funding fee. But what you have to understand is that with the conventional loan is a lot less forgiving to credit blemishes. And so the interest rate that you get is both dependent on your credit score and the amount that you put down. So if you have a 675 or a 680 credit score, you're going to get an incredible interest rate on a VA loan. And on the conventional side, because of the credit scores, you're going to have a much higher interest rate. And unless you put 20% down, you're also going to have mortgage insurance on that conventional loan.
Which you don't have with the VA loan.
Correct.
Ever.
That's right. Yeah. The FHA loan, the monthly mortgage insurance, never goes away. It stays on for the life of the loan. Never goes away. The VA loan doesn't have it at all, and conventional has monthly mortgage insurance unless you put 20% down, and unless you have perfect credit and 20% down, the interest rate on the conventional loan is usually anywhere from 1/4, 3/8, and sometimes as much as 1/2 to 3/4 of an interest rate higher than the VA. So if I have somebody, I'm just going to tell you, I don't want to bore people with number details and stuff like that, which I'm happy to do, and somebody wants to geek out on numbers with me. But when I compare, if I have a person who has got 20% to put down, and they've got 800 credit, in that case, it's possible that the conventional loan will outperform the VA loan because of the fee to the VA. But sometimes the interest rate is still 1/4 to 3/8 higher on the conventional loan, and so the payments say $50 to $100 more per month. And then over the life of the loan, the conventional loan is still more expensive. So in that case, it only makes sense to go conventional if you're going to be in the home for a short period of time.
And you're not even factoring in potentially investing that 20% and getting a rate of return on that.
That's right.
So I think the thing we have to really say here with certainty is that you cannot make a blanket statement like that.
You cannot.
You cannot.
And here, the biggest problem, I'm going to just tell you, as a veteran and an advocate for the VA home loan benefit, the biggest problem that we have out there for veterans is a massive misunderstanding of the VA home loan program. I've got sellers and I've got listing agents who are filled with BS statements like the one Dave Ramsey just made and has made multiple times. And that creates this pervasive misconception that the VA home buyer is a poorly qualified buyer, that they must have bad credit, or they're a bad borrower, and this is a risky loan. And none of those things are true. And what that means is that the VA buyer all of a sudden is at a disadvantage because people are unwilling or perhaps unlikely to accept their offer. And that's just flat wrong. So Dave Ramsey, I take issue with your statement that you've made multiple times. You are harming veterans by making that statement. And your statement is not true across the board. You've made a blatant across the board statement that is not true, and you are hurting veterans. You're hurting them by preventing them from being able to think that they can't buy a home, and you're hurting them by further perpetuating the myth and misconception that VA buyers are weak buyers or bad buyers, and that perhaps sellers and listing agents shouldn't accept or consider their offer. So you've done a massive disservice to our veterans, Dave Ramsey, and I take issue with it. I'd love to debate you about it. I'd love for you to have a little bit more of an informed conversation with you. You have an incredible platform. And I say this directly to Dave Ramsey and anybody else who's listening. I do think that Dave, I think you do a lot of great work. I think you've helped a lot of people who would otherwise be in absolute financial shambles get their life on track. So I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I think you do a lot of great things, but you've really missed the mark here. And I think you've hurt veterans with those statements that you've made.
And we take issue with that in a big way, because we're fighting the fight to educate about the truth, especially on this show and with regard to the VA home loan benefit across the board, across the country. So not only did he say that it's the worst loan and the most expensive, which is 100% incorrect, it is the absolute best loan that exists. It is the best loan that exists. It's unbelievable that you can get 100% financing, which allows you to maintain that nest egg, that 6 months reserves that he says you should have at any given time. You can buy a house with 100% down, then you can make sure that you have that sitting there. You don't have to put it into your home where you can't access it. You can keep it for a rainy day or in case something goes wrong. You have no mortgage insurance. You're able to purchase homes up to conforming loan limits. You're able to do so many things with this VA loan including buying condos now, which used to be a challenge in the past. Now you can do that too. Attached housing has become easier. There's places that are VA loan approved. So it is the best loan, not the worst loan. It is not the most expensive. In almost every case, it is the least expensive, unless you're a perfect credit 20% down borrower. And for him to say that the only reason anyone uses a VA loan is if they're broke.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, that's where I really take issue, and I just like, gosh, man. I mean, you just made this blanket statement, and you have really harmed veterans and perpetuated this bad information. By the way, haven't even mentioned the fact that there are other benefits to the VA loan that conventional and FHA don't offer. So, for example, the VA loan has what's called the VA Streamline Refinance, also called the VA IRRL, or Interest Rate Reduction Refinance Loan. And what that is that you get a VA loan, and I'm just going to make up a number here. Let's say you got a 5% interest rate, and later interest rates drop. A benefit to the VA home loan program is that you get to take advantage of this IRRL, VA IRRL, or Streamline Refinance. You get to simply lower your interest rate with no appraisal and no requalifying. The VA basically says, look, you've been making your payments on time at 5%. If you're going to get your interest rate dropped to 4.5 or 4, obviously you're still going to qualify for that. So we're not even going to reappraise it. You know, especially in the economic downturn, people who had bought with a conventional loan and interest rates dropped, and they were like, oh my gosh, I need some relief, I need to refinance. They couldn't refinance because they didn't have the equity. With a VA loan, you don't need to have the equity. You get to lower your interest rate and take advantage of the interest rate savings. So he doesn't even mention that.
I don't even know if he knows that.
He may not. By the way, did you also know that the VA loan is assumable? When you have a, let's not even, I mean, how about that as a benefit? Let's fast forward to the future where we basically all expect interest rates are going to be likely going to be higher, right? So let's fast forward to 5-10 years from now, and you're a veteran, you've got a VA loan on your home, and you've got, say, a 3.5% interest rate because you got it back when rates were at all-time lows. And you're going to sell your house, and your neighbor down the street is selling their house, and you know, along comes a buyer. So that buyer, you know, you're competing essentially now. A buyer could buy your house, or the buyer could buy your neighbor's house. Well, your VA loan is assumable. Now, there are some nuance to this assumability thing, which I won't get into right now. But what it means is that that buyer could buy your house and take over your 3.5% interest rate loan. It means that your home is potentially more marketable and sellable than the neighbor's house. Because if he buys the neighbor's house, he's going to get whatever the prevailing interest rates are that are going to be much higher. And his payments are going to be much higher. So if he buys your house, he could have lower payments, a lower interest rate. He could potentially pay more for your house and still have lower payments than if he bought the neighbor's house. So that's a huge advantage to the VA loan too, the fact that the VA loan is assumable. So he doesn't even talk about that.
But that IRRL is so big because you never have to worry about what interest rates are. You don't have to worry about it. With conventional and with FHA, you have to hawk the interest rate. You have to make sure you get the best deal because it's a big deal to go through refinance.
Yep.
You have
and
to
the value's
requalify.
got to be there.
And value's got to be there.
Right.
Things have got to be there.
Yep.
With the VA, you just go and say, hey, all right, give me my rate today. I want to buy my house. Let's get in there. If rates drop a month later or 6 months, you have to wait 6 months now. 6 months later or 8 months later or a year or 2 years later, you just go in and boom,
right.
You get your lower rate.
You get to lower the rate. So another thing, you know, this misconception that the VA is sort of a weak buyer, or the only reason that they say, the only reason anybody would ever use a VA loan is because they're flat broke. It gives this implication that VA veterans who are using a VA loan are broke and they're weak buyers, they got poor credit or things like that. So I was just at the National VA Lenders Conference in Miami a couple of weeks ago. This is something that the VA puts on, and you know, we talk about all the changes and nuances to the VA loan, and one of the parts of the presentation was data that was released for the fourth quarter of 2017 from the MBA, the Mortgage Bankers Association, showing all of the default rates for conventional FHA and VA loans. Let me share this with you.
Please.
Okay. What do you think is the best performing loan out there?
It's not the FHA.
So there's 3 categories for delinquency. There's past due, seriously delinquent, and foreclosed. Okay. Past due, the conventional rate is 4.19%. 4.19% of conventional loans are past due. FHA, 10.38% of loans are past due. And VA, 4.49. So conventional and VA are very close. Conventional on past due, conventional is slightly outperforming on the past due category. Seriously delinquent, 2.55% serious delinquency rate for conventional loans.
That's 90 plus.
What's that?
90 plus days late.
Yes. FHA loans, 4.78%.
Wow. 1 in 20.
VA, 2.43. VA has a lower seriously delinquency rate than conventional FHA. What about foreclosure rate? Conventional foreclosure rate is 1.09%. FHA foreclosure rate 1.76%.
Almost double.
And VA foreclosure rate 0.92%.
So the best performing loan.
VA is outperforming all other loan products. So
let's hear what Dave had to say just one more time in case you're just tuning in. What we're talking about here on the Dave Ramsey Show, Dave Ramsey has multiple times said that the VA loan is the, quote, worst loan out there and most expensive loan out there. We've just dispelled all that. For those of you just tuning in, let's get a quick recap. This is what Dave had to say to a veteran household, so husband and wife, both veterans.
So they've served their country, they've earned this benefit 2 times over. Okay.
And the husband has done some research and has come to Dave and said, I did my research, I want to use my VA loan so that I can not have to put money down, I can start putting money toward retirement early.
And building equity.
Build equity.
Getting the advantage of the mortgage interest deduction. I don't know. That doesn't sound like a good idea, Dave, does it?
So here's what he had to say and then what Dave had to say back.
Do we buy now and get that extra? The way I see it, there's 2 positives. There's the equity we would get in the house, plus I start saving for retirement 2 years ahead of time when I move into baby steps 4 and 6 at the same
Except
time.
for the fact that you're moving in a house broke,
Yeah.
which is just so dangerous, it's unbelievable. You're asking for trouble, and the VA loan's a more expensive loan anyway. It's not a bargain. It's the worst loan out there as far as the 3, VA, FHA, and conventional. Conventional's the cheapest, FHA next, and VA last. The only reason anyone ever does a VA loan is because they don't have any money.
Right.
And you can get a nothing down deal with that. That's the only reason anybody uses their VA loan. Thank you for...
I'm just going to tell you, Dave, I'm really disappointed. You just kind of smugly dismissed this incredible benefit, and you've hurt veterans with it. I mean, that's the bottom line. And there's so much misinformation, and here it is coming from a guy who's highly respected and highly followed in the financial world, right? So, look, here's my ask. Anybody who's watching our presentation here today on Smarter San Diego, I mean, I and many other veterans and veteran advocates like me need you to share this video. We have got to get the information out there. The right information is, going to come from a professional who's going to look at your financial situation and tell you what the best options are. I'm not just blindly pushing the VA loan. There are plenty of times when the VA loan is not the right option. But please share this information. We have got to help veterans see and understand what that benefit is for them and not just have it blanketly just dismiss the way Dave Ramsey just did. So please share this video. That's my ask. Please pass this word. Help us get this word out so that veterans can take advantage of this incredible benefit that is their VA home loan benefit.
We believe that the people who have served this country deserve to know the truth, and we need your help to make sure that they get it. So please share this video.
And look, they've served their country. They deserve to own a piece of it. And the VA home loan helps them do that.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
You are now smarter than everyone else. Let's help make sure that all the veterans in your newsfeed are as well. We appreciate it.